Hello and welcome to another SolidWorks tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at external threads. So that's sort of the threading that you put on the outside of a screw or a bolt, something like that, so that we can add that thread on for when we're doing our assemblies and our parts. So to start off with, we're just very quickly going to knock up a hexagonal head screw. So we're going to extrude onto the top plane. We're going to use a hexagon, obviously, so we just use the polygon tool up here, make sure it's set to 6 sides, use the origin point and knock out a nice hexagon. Now, as we can see, we've got all the guide circle on the inside. We're going to set our hexagon to an 18 diameter, because obviously hexagons, nice regular shapes, and you can define them entirely by just using the diameter of the guide circle. So I'm just going to make that 18. There we go, thinks about it. So we've got 18, it is 18 across faces, for those of you that don't know. But that means it's 18 from top to bottom, from this side to the other parallel side, and this side to the other parallel side. So we know it's 18 across. Now, of course, it isn't fully dimensioned currently. That is because the sides are not locked, so we can still pinwheel. There we go. It won't get any bigger or smaller, but it will carry on changing around. So the easiest thing to do with this is to click on one of the peaks, hold Control and click on the origin point, and we're going to make that horizontal when it wakes up and lets me go. There we go, and then we hit horizontal. There we go. So that's now fully defined. Into Sketch. I'm going to want this to be 8.4 just because that's a nice regular size for these. Bit of an odd number, but it comes back from Imperial, so we just use 8.4 because it's a traditional size. Tick it. So that gives us our head for the screw. We're then going to normal to this bottom side and draw on the shaft for the screw. So just a circle from the origin point to here. Now this is going to be an M12 screw, and of course because it's an M12 we know that it's a metric size 12, and the 12 of course stands for the major diameter or the outside diameter. So we're just going to set our diameter to 12. This changes a little bit when we do internal, but nothing major. So an M12 has a 12mm diameter shaft. So end that again. And then let's make this 30. Okay. So now we've got a 30mm screw. Now, obviously, looks the part, but we need it to have the actual threading on it so that we know that it's a threaded part. Now, first thing we have to do before we actually try and put the thread on is we have to turn on the shaded cosmetic threads, because basically SolidWorks turns it off every time you make a new part, just so it saves on the graphics, because if you're not using it, it's pointless to have on. So all we have to do is go to the option menu at the top, we go to document properties, and we go to detailing, and we click shaded cosmetic threads. Okay? So all you have to do is go through that, options, document properties, detailing, shaded cosmetic thread. Yeah, okay. Obviously that's made no difference to our model currently because we don't have them turned on. So now we need to do is insert our cosmetic thread. So we hover over the SolidWorks icon in the top left and we go to insert. Now basically the insert on here is just extra features that aren't on the quick menu. There's loads and loads in SolidWorks, a lot of which we won't use, but you can use because they're all obviously there for extra stuff. But if we come right down to the bottom here and go to annotations, one of the ones that's on here that isn't in the quick bars is cosmetic thread. So we can hit cosmetic thread, and as that loads up, basically what this does is it adds the effect of a thread onto the outside of our shaft. So there we go. So the first thing it wants us to do is select a round edge. So we're going to select the edge of our shaft here. There you go. So straight away we can see it shaded it in, so it's trying to look threaded. Now we just need to set the parameters for it. So we change it from standard to ANSI metric. It's going to be a machine thread. We want an M12, so M12 by 1.75 because that's a standard coarse thread. It's currently set up to next, which means it will come all the way up to the next one. If I was doing a specific type of screw, maybe with the clearance bit on the end, we might change it to blind, and at that point you can then give it a depth. So you see that's automatically default to 5, and there's a bit at the end that's threaded, but nothing extra. So I'm just going to leave it as up to next though. There we go, and then we tick it. There we go, and now we have our nice, pretty cosmetic thread on our hexagonal head screw. Okay, perfect, nice and easy. There we go, so that's another one done.